Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here with a new scrapbook process video using my March stash kit. And I'm just going through everything that I pulled from my kit for this layout. And prior to turning the camera on, I did go ahead and use some clear gesso on my background paper because I knew I was going to put a little bit of watercolor on the background. So that's what I'm doing here. I picked a couple of pinks and a green teal kind of greeny blue color, and that's going to be just some color that I'm going to lay down on my background. And I'm using the Prima watercolor set. I think this was the Tropicals, but I'm not positive. And I'm just going to lay down some color. A lot of this gets covered up, but you do see a little bit that pops out from the sides and around the embellishing that goes on this layout. So as you can see, I'm kind of going down the right side, up all the way up and down the right side of the layout, and then just a small section of the upper left-hand side I'm putting some color. So those are where I've already sort of decided in my head my layout's going to have a vertical feel and then have a cluster off to the left side at the top. And I'm going to be honest about this layout. It is definitely one of those layouts, and I think we all can say we've had these where you create a layout and it's definitely not your favorite. I don't dislike this layout enough that I would say I'm going to tear it all apart and completely redo it, but I will say of all the layouts that I've created, at least recently, this is the one I probably can say that I like the least. I like the idea that I had in my head. I like that I used up a lot of word stickers that I had, which you'll see here coming up. But I'm not sure that I like how it all came together in the end. I don't like my white gesso or my clear gesso. I don't really like it. It's very gritty, and I really need to get some new clear gesso because I think it's the Liquitex is the brand that I have. I really hate it. And maybe that had something to do with why I didn't like that it left sort of a streakiness on the paper. Yeah, this whole layout for me, I wasn't even sure I was going to post it. But anyway, rant over. This is the process that I figured I would show it anyway, but it's definitely not my favorite. So I went ahead and finished the background, put as much color down as I thought I wanted on the layout, and then I grabbed my gold Heidi Swap color in and just added some of the splatters to the background of this page. So I'm going to then lay this aside to dry, and while that is drying, I'm just going to go ahead and matte my photo. I am trimming down my photo a little bit. It had quite a bit of sort of unnecessary stuff on the side, so I just kind of trim it down and make it a smaller size and just focus it in on my husband, my daughter, and I. And I'm just scrapbooking a photo of my daughter and my husband and I at Disney World. This was before we became a family of 3. So my daughter is still quite little. I think she was probably 3 in this picture. Or 2 maybe. It was before she was late getting hair, so her hair is really, really short. She took a long time for her hair to grow in, so she was a little short-haired princess for a long time. And so she's wearing her little Aurora dress, and we're at Epcot, and we just had our picture taken, and so I thought this was a really cute picture of us from that time when she was still little and before our son came along. So I've gone ahead and matted my layers, and again, I'm just using scraps for the most part for a lot of my layering, since I am getting to the end of this kit. That's mostly all I have for papers. I am adding a doily and then 2 tags, and that tag that has the green on it is where my journaling is going to be, and it is going to go behind my photo. And I will do that journaling off camera later, but that will be where my journaling will land. And then I'm playing here with my title. I know I want to have the title be Happy Together. And I'm finally using one of those gold thicker words. Finally getting another one of those used up. And so I want to put it there, and I'm thinking that I'm going to separate it, but I do change it slightly later. So while my background is drying, I'm just kind of playing and auditioning around some of the things that I pulled for this kit and just kind of deciding, what I want to use, what I don't want to use, and laying out how I want my clusters to look, just so that once my background is dry, I can kind of complete the rest of the layout and have it laid out at least somewhat how I think it's going to come together. So I'm just going to then put this top cluster together, and it has just a tag and some other ephemera pieces. And you can see beside my photo there, I have that long strip of their gold word stickers from Maggie Holmes' collection. It was one of her early collections, maybe Flea Market, or one of those anyway. And I really wanted to try and tackle using as many of those as I could. So my cluster on the top left has 3 of the word stickers in it. And then you'll see what I do here once I've glued my background paper that is now dry. It's quite warped, so it's a good thing I am putting it on a piece of cardstock, because it did warp quite a bit, so this does help. So I'm going to mat this onto the 12 by 12 piece of cardstock, and then I will start laying out the word strips. And I do like the fact that I do get a significant amount, since this was a full pack that I started with, these Maggie Holmes word stickers. I am really happy with the fact that I was able to get quite a good chunk of them used. There's still a lot left, but for starting with a full pack at the beginning of my kit, I think I'm definitely happy with where I left off. So I'm just, again, laying everything out, because like I said, when my background was drying, I kind of laid out where everything was going to go, and now I can just ink everything up with my Vintage Distress ink and go ahead and be able to assemble this layout pretty quickly. So that's what I'm doing here. I have just all the pieces, and I'm just adding that ink to all the sides. And here I'm going to glue it all together. And for those of you that have been going through all the series, all my Scrap Stash series, I have created playlists for each of the Scrap Stash videos that I've put together. So all of the 6x6 inspired stash kit layouts and all of my past ones, I put them now all into playlists. So if you're ever looking for all the ones that were done with the 6x6 inspired, or any of the other videos as I go forward, I'm trying to put them in playlists so that, if anyone's ever interested, you can go back and watch them that way as well. And I'm just going to finish here assembling. You can see that I put the together sticker that I had originally at the bottom of the photo. I actually put it at the top, and that's where it's going to stay. So my title is actually going to be together at the top there, the word together, and then happy I will put up on top of the together, sort of on top of that last pink layer that I just laid down a second ago. So this is pretty heavily layered. I have quite a few layers there behind my photo. I like the depth and dimension that it gives. I will, in the final, when I finally lay everything down, I will add some foam to the photo to lift it up a little bit, or lift all the photo layers up a little bit. So I'm just laying everything out like I had before on my desk, putting my tags in the back where I know my journaling is going to go. And then this is where I am going to start to lay out all of these word stickers. And like I said, I am going for a vertical design on this right-hand side. So I want the design to go from the top of the page to the bottom. And I'm not putting all the word strips directly underneath each other. I'm kind of staggering them back and forth, varying which ones go more to one side than to the other. I want it to have a stacked effect, but not be very linear where it's all exactly even. And so that is what I ended up going with, and I stopped the camera and just glued everything down so you didn't have to watch me do that. Here I came back with just gluing down sort of the last finishing touches. I added some wood veneer hearts, and now I'm just going through and I'm going to pick some pink, I believe they were, I picked the pink sequins that I pulled in my stash kit. So I'm just going to scatter those around just sort of randomly, but I specifically chose where I was going to put them, but random sort of where I want to put them. And I'm kind of doing it almost like I would with enamel dots. So I've kind of put a few through where I have all the word stickers, and then I have 3 in my cluster to the top left, and then I have 3 that are in that cluster that's to the right, bottom right of the photo. And so like I said, this I will say is not probably my favorite layout that I created with my kit, but it is a memory that is done and recorded and will go into our family album. And I don't hate it, and I'm not usually one of the scrappers who will take it apart and redo it anyway. I may scrap the photo again down the road if I, want to talk about something else. But, overall, I'm okay with this layout. Like I said, it's not my favorite, and I think it's good to show that, not every layout becomes your absolute favorite layout. So here are the final photos for this one. And if you want to check out any of the other layouts that I've made with my stash kit, be sure to check out my channel, and I will catch you guys all on the next one. Talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.